Good evening to all. So, as an intern at a Spark Foundation at a post of data science and business analytics, so on our 1st December, we have given a first task in which we have to design a linear regression supervised machine learning model. So the data is given to us like in a first column, the data was a student number of hours of studies, and in another column, the data was a after this particular time of reading, how much student will score. So the we have to design a question is if student read 9.25 hours, so then after the analyzing that much of data, predict the score of the student if student read 9.25 hours. So for that, we have to import data. For importing the data, we have to import these libraries: pandas libraries, numpy libraries, matplot for graphs, seaborn for visualize data from the website. So after that, importing the all required library, we have to import the data. So for that, we have assigned a url variable in which the data from the website is stored. After that, we have used a df.head in which from the rows and number of columns, we got a top 5 rows. After applying this code, df.head define.head, and we after that we have assigned df.tail in which last top 5 bottom data we will get. After that, df.shape we have used here. So with the help of this, we will check the how much number of rows and columns are there in the data set. Okay, then we've written df.info for getting more information from the data, like float is 64.1, integer 64.1, memory uses, and for that much of information, we use df.info for required more data. After we have used df.describe for getting a mean, median, maximum number. So for that, we use df.describe. After, for finding any missing values, after finding this much of data, we analyze that is any data is left. So for that, for checking that, we have used a define.isNull.sum in which our hours and scores rows data, missing data is shown. So here 0 0, so we have not missed any data from our data set. After that, we are plotting the data with the help of this much of code, in which we are plotting the data with the help of matplot library which we have assigned earlier. So we can put any color here like purple, yellow, all the color which you want. And here style, I have assigned a star mark. You can also assign another sign for this plot. After that, we are finding the correlation between hours and score. So for that, this code is used. After we have again finding the top five data set from our data. Then we are dividing the data into x and y formation, in which our x is the value of the r's and y is the value of our scores. We are training our model. Here, our zero index is our r and one first index is our score. So according to the list concept, we are addressing here our r's and scores. From that, we are getting a specific r's data, and with the assigning x and with the assigning of y, we are getting the array data. After that, we are splitting the data, and we can say we are training that our model to for train our model or to get a specific data. And here we are applying linear regression model of machine learning. And after, we are creating a plotting. Earlier we have plotted the data was our data set model plotting, and here the plot is our trained model, in which this is our training model. Okay, and then here is our plotting testing model. I want to mention here, this is not an accurate model, it's just a predictable model. And from that, we are getting a testing data of our first 5 rows, and first 5 rows of ours and first 5 rows of a column. And according to this much of predictable data, we are finding here, if student score 9.2, if student read 9.25 hours, then how much student will score. So after our predictable data set model, we are able to find our answer is, if student, the predicted score if a person studies for 9.25 hour is 93.69 percentage, or whatever mentioned in our data. Okay, so that's all for task 1. Thank you so much.